hell. Is it Earth Day? It is.
Yeah.
I literally, oh my gosh, what a morning. So obviously, thank you guys for flip-flopping. Thank you, Elizabeth, for directing everybody. Little technical difficulty this morning. A little bit of life difficulty this morning. Like, look at me. I'm so sorry. It was a bit of a rough one. We've got some workers downstairs doing some things, and you know what? You're kind of seeing the real room. Elizabeth's over there on the sofa holding the belly. Wave, boo-boo. Wave, hello. We got dog toys everywhere, hoping that they'll remain quiet during coffee time, as well as the other stuff we've got going on. But anyway, good morning. And you know what? Happy Earth Day. I really do need to pay attention to the news a little bit more. If I didn't get to say good morning to you, then good morning to you. Good morning, Gary. I haven't said good morning to you yet, my sweet friend. John says that Pam's not watching yet because she's watching the grandkids. Priorities, right? Grandkids, we'll talk about that. And Ernie, good morning. Sydney and Valencio, good morning as well. Good morning, Lori from Frankfurt, Germany. How fun is this? I swear, I think this is my favorite part about coffee time. I know you're here for, well, whatever reason you're here, whether it's the info, the stories, the kind of semi-reality show that we've got going on here, or again, however you find us or wherever you watch us. We are so grateful that you do. And how fun. There Elizabeth goes. This is going to be the whole show, guys. Hang on. But yeah, so how crazy that people in all these countries all across the world, we're all joining here. So, you know, kumbaya, everybody. Let's hold hands and give hugs. So anyway, well, good morning. And again, happy Earth Day. I'm so glad that Eric mentioned that. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about. I'm going to try to stay on time, although I guess I don't really have to. I guess I can just kind of, yak as long as I want to at this point.
Hooray!
Eric's back. Eric is here, guys. Yeah. So what's funny is there a way to take the Earth Day thing off or no?
Well, yeah, just go to the next thing.
Go to the what next thing? Oh, there it is. Okay, good. So what's really funny is that as these weeks and days passed, I'm like, well, what was last week's coffee time? And that was the one where Elizabeth and I were kind of on our own. Eric was out. It was the Boston Marathon. So that's where we were last week. So we're going to catch you up on all of that fun stuff. We have a lot to talk about. So a lot of great real estate information. We have a lot of some new things that are happening in a great community that I talk about all the time. So we want to share that information with you as well. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Melody. Good morning, Grateful Drifter. Good morning, everybody. Thanks again for, Ben. Ben says, thanks for the landscaping referral, Adrian. Is great. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, this is really kind of important. We talk about referral and I guess this isn't probably in everybody's business, but, people, if you refer them, they're like, if you refer our company, for every client we get, we'll send you, a $200 gift card or whatever. And I think that's fantastic. I think that's wonderful, but that's not my vibe. If I recommend or refer a client to somebody, it's specifically because either I've had an experience with them or a client has had an experience either directly or indirectly. And that's how I do referrals. It's if you need the information and I've got somebody that can help you, I'll send them your way. I mean, your relationship and your experience with them is going to be uniquely yours, but that I don't do it for any of those gift cards, which is one of the reasons. ADT, you got to stop calling me. You got to stop calling realtors all the time. As soon as I have a closing, 15 ADT agents will call me. And by the way, I use ADT, so it's not a problem with the company. It's that I understand the referral network and that's the way a lot of people do things. And I mean, again, I appreciate it. Referrals. I get clients who refer me to their people, and that's fine too. But again, I don't ever have a client that refers me to someone with them having an expectation of getting anything back. And that's kind of the way I run my business. So anyway, back to that, Ben. I'm glad that you're having a good experience with Adrian. I know he is also grateful. He actually reached out and said, thank you for those referrals. It means a lot. When you own a company and you have a lot of employees underneath of you, you feel very much responsible for them and for their families and for their livelihood, knowing that, the success of your business and the ability to provide them work and therefore a paycheck, therefore they can continue, feeding their family and living their own life. It's a very daunting thing. And having having had that business in Virginia for 22 years, way back when, I felt that same kind of, it was a gift, and it was very much a burden at times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have got to make sure that all my employees are paid before I get paid. So anyway, so I'm glad. So if anyone's looking for landscaping, I got somebody for you, and I've got lots of different referrals for lots of different services. So with that, were you going to say something you wanted to pop in?
Go weather news.
I am going to do that right now. Yeah. That's a weather update for you right there. So if you already live here in the Sunshine State, you are in for a fabulous week. This is it, guys. This is the most glorious weather. It is warm. You can feel that sun kind of just, kind of bronzing up that skin a little bit. It just feels so good, but it's not sweltering. You're not dripping sweat the moment you open your front door. It's just absolutely beautiful. The longer days means we get to enjoy it even longer. So if you don't live here, this is what you're missing. And I know a lot of you are trying to get yourselves here to enjoy this. But for those of us who already live here, man, we have a great week in store. I know this is Eric's perfect weather. What day was it that we were out and you actually commented that this is just the best weather? Was it Saturday?
It was every day, like on Wednesday. I don't know what day it was, but I'm saying if you look at that calendar right there, Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's my day.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know why else Wednesday is our day, but we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Anyway, speaking of that, let's talk about our brewing topics for the day. So let's get going. Okay, so OCA Fred found you. Good morning. Yeah, again, apologies if any of you were kind of going, what's happening? What's going on? A little bit of a, technical hiccup this morning, right as we pushed our countdown. So Eric scrambled and got us here. So hopefully Elizabeth rerouted you and you guys are here joining us. So our brewing topics for today: baby news, $1 million lots, pretty soon, and then the Boston Marathon recap. So first of all, I know everyone is excited. I love you all so much. The amount of text messages that I get from so many people that are like, how are your girls doing? Is there anything they need? Just wanted to check in, sending you, prayers for easy deliveries. You guys are so incredibly kind. So thank you. And I will tell you that I know my girls appreciate it. They are both at the home stretch. The finish line is so close, so close, so close. Okay, it is time. Okay, so we are, not for both of them, unless something changed.
It is time.
It is time. Okay, yes, you said it much better than I did. So we actually are officially on a countdown with Allie. We have an induction date, so let's just suffice it to say that Wednesday, as in day after tomorrow, is going to be a very big day for all of us. So excited about it. I wore blue. I was looking in the little TV thingy. It looks, I don't know what color this looks, but I wore blue because, little baby boy is going to be born in 2 days. Now what time, we don't know, but they are doing the induction on Wednesday. So we are very excited. Wednesday is going to be a very, very, very big day for us. And for any of you that might be clients that are looking to be coming in town this week, I actually think I have everybody already set and scheduled. But we are going to try to focus on family for a couple of days. I have all of my, imminent issues with clients, for the most part, resolved. I do have a wonderful colleague of mine named Irene who is going to be assisting for anybody that, maybe needs to see a home and it's just something I can't get out there to do. So point is, you are in good hands. We're still going to be working. We're just going to change that focus a little bit and focus on my family. Now, one of the most exciting things is that my son-in-law's parents got here safely from Virginia. They drove a straight shot. I think they stopped maybe once or twice. But here's the hysterical part. I wish we had a picture of it. They drove from Virginia with coolers of frozen food and fresh food so that they can be here to take care of Alyssa and Hong. And I think that is just the most amazing thing. So they got here on Saturday late afternoon, early evening, I believe. And so they are busy cooking and prepping. And I believe their thought is their job is going to be to take care of the house, the dogs, and Hong, so that Hong can take care of Allie and be completely available to her. And it could not be better. We're just very excited that they get to be here to join in. And we're glad that there was a date and a time-ish that kind of allowed us to have somewhat of a normal schedule. So assuming Allie doesn't go into labor today, the plan is we'll have some exciting news sometime on Wednesday. So with that, we'll move on. Did you want to say something? No? Okay. Sometimes I look at my husband and I can't tell if he's like waiting to say something because his hand's close to a button. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm like supposed to to you, dear?
Carry on.
Carry on. All right, I'm carrying on. Okay. So the next part of this, now this is some good real estate information right here. $1 million lot. So first of all, I'm very happy and sad about this. I'm very excited and a little bit depressed about this. But the main thing is what we've got coming. So take a look. Okay, so yes, that was the scoop entrance, and that's because this is the inside scoop. So first of all, this is the community of Waterleigh, one of my absolute favorite communities. I know, I talk about it all the time. I am a big fan of this community. First of all, just take a look at that. This is just very indicative of the community. The lakes that kind of nestle around, they've been very good. This is another good one. You can see the conservation that kind of is nestled around. Look at that. You see the pond with the fountain. Again, very, very, very it's indicative of the community. Again, taking a look, you see more water back there. This community is so beautiful, and these are some new home sites, the final home sites for the Emerald series. You can see this. You've got the black fencing around that not fencing, but like the rail for all of the debris that might go flying, the construction stuff, the silt fence. There you go. That is already out. These are for like their North Haven floor plans, which is beautiful. But here's the fun part. They've actually got 2 new floor plans that they're introducing into these very few home sites. And these are, Eric, what, like 1.3 to 1.6 million? Keep in mind, it's the home site, all of the structural and all of design. All of that has been chosen. So that's not the base price. That is the all-in price. So there is a quick, snapshot of their actual site plan. So you can see those home sites in the green over to the right, looking at 553 kind of down to 537. All the way down there. So that's kind of the little row. And you can see, and this is really good. Do you see the difference in the shapes, right? They're all sort of rectangular-ish, but you've got some really wonky shaped ones. And that's because, as I've said before, when you have home sites here that are on the perimeter of a community that backs up to conservation or water, now we're dealing with Mother Nature, right? You can't just as a builder parcel out perfect little rectangles all the way down a row. Like if you look in the middle, look at the blue ones or the orange ones, right? Those are a little bit more, kind of uniform. These all have a little bit of an interest to them. So you can take a look at that first one there that's 553. Look how long that one is. That one's going to go out a little bit. You look at the one right next to it. It kind of goes out like this. So very interesting when you're looking at home sites to see the actual plat of land that you're looking at, how it is shaped, how deep it is. Take a look. It was at 539 that's got like the one little thing that's sticking out at the very end down there. Yep. Very interesting. And again, what's important is what Eric just showed you via the drone. He's so proud of that drone, by the way. It's a new one. Pretty. He's so excited. New toy for Eric. But what's really nice is that this is showing you, okay, there's green and then there's blue. it's hard to determine, well, is that just flat grass that's green? No, it's going to be different in different views because there you go. So you can see, like, take a look at some of these. Like, that's 548. You see this one right here at the front of the screen says 548. You can match that to that site map that we just showed you, and you can see kind of how deep they are. Now, here's the thing. They're not all deep. Some of them are a little bit more shallow, and some of them are going to have a little bit more length to them. And
again, if you look at that one story there, that's right there, there's very little backyard before the conservation. But these lot premiums, Amy, how much are they?
Well,
$300,000.
Yeah. And remember, though, this price that we told you, the 1.3 to 1.6, includes that lot premium.
That's all in, yeah.
But yeah, look at that two-story right there that's on the end. There's very little backyard. Now, keep in mind that silt fence isn't necessarily the property line, okay? So you still might have land that's back behind that a little bit. But anyway, so
but these homes do have riparian rights, and as our Coffee Time viewers know, riparian rights are...
Right. Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at something. Riparian rights means that your property line actually is going to go into the water, which means that you have the ability to build a dock if you wanted to do like a pier or a dock or something, if you wanted to have a boat lift, something like that. And some of these home sites do. Not all lakefront or waterfront homes have riparian rights, and that's important to note. Not all of them do. Do you have that shot in here that you showed me before of the docks?
I don't have it. I don't have it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. No worries. Anyway, so that's just really, really, really exciting for us. So on that, let's take a look at the two new floor plans, because I will tell you, there was a moment, and it was probably, well, I don't know how long it was for Eric, but there was probably about a couple hours worth of me thinking that we might be moving. But here's one of them. This one is called the Everett. Again, this is a larger one-story, 2,929 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 3-car garage. And beautiful, beautiful home. You can see, what I love about this is if you look at the bottom left, you see where it says entry? There's 2 entries, one to the foyer, one to the in-law suite or the studio suite. That has a separate living space with a private kitchen, access then to its own bedroom and a full bath. So that is its own, like, a true in-law studio suite little mini apartment. So it's got like a little kitchen and everything in there. So that's a great floor plan. Again, you keep going, big living space, bedrooms kind of tucked back out and around. So really nice. It's a really nice floor plan. Excited about this one. And then this one is called the Westbrook. This one is actually, it checks off almost all the same boxes of the house that we are living in right now. But as we thought about it, I was like, I don't necessarily, I don't really want to live on the water. I mean, the view would be beautiful, but I don't really care for that. In fact, I think it would make me a little bit more nervous and anxious. So for me to spend $300,000 on a lot premium on the water is not a great use of my money, right? I would rather find something that has a different kind of a view for $300,000, just expansiveness, something like that. Anyway, so this is a great floor plan over here. So we like this one quite a bit, but we're not moving because we put way too much into this home. We're still working on this home. Clearly, there's people downstairs. So we've got a lot going on, and I'm just, this home might be a little bit too big for us eventually, but for now, it's still ours, so we're going to keep it. So moving on. All right, Daisy, I hear that whining dog back there. My apologies. All right, so the last part is the Boston recap. So if you were with us last week, you know that Eric was not here. He was in Boston. We did a quick little... he chimed in for a brief period of time while he was waiting for the train. Everyone was like, he's really quiet. I'm like, remember, guys, he was like, give us a break. He was out in the oh my goodness, Daisy Jane, what is your problem? But he was out and about there in Boston trying to get to where he needed to be for Forrest. So let me find that picture here. He is. So my boy, Daisy Jane, you must stop it.
Come here, Daisy.
You must stop it. That is enough. I apologize, everyone. She's being a very bad dog. The official dog of Disney's backyard she's on my list right now, so my apologies. Anyway, Forrest ran, and ran he did. So this is our boy Forrest. He ran that Boston Marathon. So happy. It was, I will tell you, so excited for him. He finished. He's healthy. He's still nursing that injury. So it wasn't an easy run at all. It was a pretty tough one, but he was able to get it. He was able to complete, got that medal, super excited. But here's my problem. The coverage was horrible. So if you were, like Elizabeth and I, were frantically trying to find him. Now in the New York Marathon, there were cameras in multiple spots. There were ways for you to kind of catch glimpses, and we did. We were able to track him on our phone. We were able to track him on the app to track your runner. We were able to watch the news coverage, figure out who was in what section, and kind of track it and like hope to catch a glimpse of him. And we did in the New York Marathon. This one, honestly, as soon as the professionals were done, they kind of like stopped the coverage. Okay, sorry, I'm dealing with something over here, and I need it to stop. So, so he ran the Boston Marathon. The coverage was not the greatest. I was a little bit upset about that, but Elizabeth found this woman who was live streaming at mile marker 20 and a half, and it was kind of amazing because we watched her. Elizabeth was texting going, okay, well, if you see this bib number, it was a red bib number, whatever. And she's like, oh, wow, that's like a low number. Wow. She's like, cause she's a runner, so she knows what those numbers mean. And anyway, so it's very exciting. We're super happy that Eric was able to go there and be with him. That makes us really happy because it was very, very exciting. It was a big deal. A huge deal for him to qualify and then run and then finish that Boston Marathon. We've had a lot of baby stuff happening, so we're glad that he was able to be there for him and not take away from that, monumental moment for him. And speaking of that, I'm going to see Forrest tomorrow night. Doesn't he get it? What time? Evening, right? Evening. Yeah, so Forrest is coming home. I say coming home. He says Virginia's home, but he's coming home to mommy. Tomorrow night, he's going to come in so he can be in town to see his nephew after he's born. So lots of fun and exciting stuff here. So hang on. It's going to be a crazy bumpy ride here for these next few days. So moving on. Let's see. What else do we have to talk about, dear?
You can go Word if you want.
Let me go to Word. Let's go to Word. Where's my Word? Here's my Word.
Oh, now come on, Amy, tell me what's the word.
Okay, the word is extension. So this is important. This is a word that we talk about a lot. There's a phone buzzing somewhere.
I don't know whose phone it is.
Oh, well, it stopped now. All right, now, sorry, our table was buzzing with the phone. Like real life, reality show. Hot mess today. All right, extension. So this is something that I think is important. Extension. What that means is, let's say we have a closing date, all right? And for whatever reason, we need to have an extension. So in most cases, the extension is going to be, well, a couple different things. So let's say that we have a chaos. Let's just say that we have an inspection, right? And let's say there's an inspection item and we need to get a little bit more clarification. Like let's say that there's something that's a little bit troublesome. We have a few more questions and maybe we need to get a specialist out there to take a look at that. Then we are going to, then we may ask for an extension to allow an extension in the inspection period. So let's say inspection period is 5 days. We get our inspection in, we find out that there's an issue on something. Let's just say it's a roof thing. Okay, well, we need to get a roofer out there to assess the problem and give us a little bit more clarity on what that issue is and how much it's going to cost to remedy that. Is it something that we might want to cancel the contract on, or do we need to talk to the seller? So we may do an extension of the inspection period to protect the buyer, to allow them a little bit more time to do their due diligence. That's one form of an extension and one reason you might have one. And then the other one, which is most common, is an extension to the closing date. And I'm saying that because I have some sweet people who are here on Wishes today, and we have had to do 3 extensions to their closing date. And it was because this was my listing. It was supposed to have closed on April 8th. It's not April 8th anymore, is it? No. It was supposed to close on April 8th. And now it is going to close on April 26th, and that is after 3 different extensions. And the reason for that was the buyer's lender. And this is kind of one of those things where, as a realtor, sometimes it's important to make sure that your realtor kind of knows what they're doing. So, for instance, there was it was a foreign buyer, totally not a problem. that we have, a foreign buyer is the one that is going to be purchasing the property. The challenge is in that financing. And anytime you have someone from out of the country who is purchasing a home, it doesn't matter where they're from or how qualified they are, cash or finance, doesn't matter. There's going to be more involved in getting, well, I guess cash is different, but with cash, they're tracking the money a little bit more. Where did it come from? Where did it come from there? Where did it come from before that? For the financing part of it, there's just a lot more due diligence from the lender's side to make sure that a lot more follow through and vetting has been done. So that was the problem. But here's the thing. If I knew that I had a client that was purchasing from out of the country, I would not do a 30-day closing. I would do a 45 or a 60-day closing because we know it's going to take longer. So what's happened is my clients, sweet family, have moved themselves out of their house, closing on April 8th. Boom, boom, they're done. They're good. They found a place to rent. Okay, now we had an extension. We needed to extend it until the 22nd. And we're like, okay, because we needed some more time with the lender. Okay, we did the extension. Then they asked for another 1-day extension, which we signed. And immediately that exact same day, the lender's like, no, we need it to the 26th. So all of that is to do the due diligence. It doesn't mean that there's a problem that the loan is not going to be approved. It's not going to get a clear to close. It's just a matter of checking off boxes. It's a matter of, that type of aspect, right? The due diligence that the lender has to do behind the scenes. So extensions. Now, here's where I wanted to go with this when we talked about the word of the day. What can you expect as a repercussion or a concession or inconvenience if something extends, right? If something has to extend. If you are the buyer and you are asking for the extension, and it's something that unfortunately, like this situation, it's not really the buyer's fault, but the agent should be saying, I am so sorry, sellers, we need to extend another week. Because we need to extend for another week, we're going to send an additional deposit to escrow as good faith, just to show you that we are so sorry that we are causing you this delay. And it just shows good faith. It's a good thing to do. This agent did not advise her client to do it, and it makes things a little bit messier. If you are the seller, you can request that. You also don't have to accept the extension. You don't have to accept the extension, but then you risk the whole deal falling through, and you've already waited this long. What's another couple days? Because otherwise you'd have to sign the cancellation of the contract, put it back active, deal with that whole thing all over again. It's going to be at least another 30 days. So it is usually in your best interest, if an extension is requested, to honor it. Make sure that you understand why. And if you need some sort of concession or compensation for that, whether as the buyer or as the seller, that you speak to your agent and have that part negotiated so that you can kind of keep everyone happy. Because I will tell you, it's frustrating, right? If they were expecting to close April 8th, they moved out way too soon. Now they've had to pay a mortgage payment they weren't expecting to have to pay because it should have closed by then. So now they've had to pay rent and a mortgage payment because the buyer needed to extend. So there is a financial detriment to the seller because of this extension in that regard. So, real estate is a lot more complicated and has a lot more nuance than people give it credit for. And I think that is a sure sign of an experienced agent when they can kind of navigate through some of those things and know what to do and explain why. So anyway, so if you've ever been in a situation where you've needed an extension or you've had an extension done to you, it is normal. It's not super common that it has to happen all the time, but it does happen. It's not necessarily a horrible thing. Sometimes it's just we need a little bit more time to make sure that everything is done the proper way and that we can get to the finish line together. So with that, all right, are there any questions that I should be? Not yet, no questions? Okay, if you have questions, put them in there. You guys know the drill. And again, thank you guys for finding us after our wonky start. All right, so let me move on. What time are we at? Oh, it's only 9:30.
Can do Allie.
We got lots of times. All right, so let's go to Allie. Where's my Allie? I gotta find her. Where's my Allie? I don't see. Oh, no, I don't see her. Where is she? Can you find her? He huffs, but.
I had to move it. Okay, well, then you don't have to. So do something else.
Okay, all good. All right, so what I wanted to show you, where was it, is this. Okay, so we have 2 listings that went active. This is a beautiful home. I think we teased it last week. This is a beautiful home in Lakeside at Hamlin, a beautiful Dream Finders floor plan. This is the Anna Maria with a bonus. The bonus room is a huge, massive bonus room, as well as a full bath, as well as a big walk-in closet. So that is the upstairs space. It also has a pool. That's right, it already has a pool. And not only that, it has one of my favorite features that not more of you builders do, and you need to fix it, which is they do the disappearing sliding doors. So they have a triple slider that slides, and it hides behind the wall, so your sliders are completely open without one stationary panel. So it's beautiful, really nice. Got some fireworks views from the back, really lovely. We've had tremendous foot traffic, so much so I had it listed, I think, at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then I had a showing request immediately for 10 a.m. I'm like, oh my goodness. And we were kind of off and running. So lots of foot traffic. We have a couple of interested buyers in this one already. One of them has a contingency, so I think they're just trying to get a couple things in place before they submit the offer, but nothing in hand yet. So if you are interested, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, $759,000. This is 2,700 square feet. And again, as the Anna Maria floor plan, if you're familiar with it, I know a lot of you are, it is a large 1-story. So primarily the Anna Maria is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath home on the first floor, and that bonus room is exactly that. It's just bonus space. So you could live on that whole first floor as your primary living space, and then upstairs is truly bonus room. So that is a fantastic one. And then we also just yesterday morning listed this beautiful townhome in Legato. Legato is a Mattamy Homes community in Windermere, and here's what's so fantastic about this. Behind this, and if you look at we'll look at the 3 pictures at the bottom, you can see the primary bedroom has a balcony off of it that is screened in, and you see the beautiful trees that are there. Through those trees and out and about, you can see the Disney fireworks, because this is right beside Disney's cast member parking. It's just down the street, maybe half a mile, Disney cast member parking. So if you are looking for a townhome, again, actually, we already have an offer on this one. It came in last night. Trying to deal with that a little bit. That's part of why my phone's been going ding, ding, ding this morning. But we, honestly, it happened so fast. We just listed it yesterday morning. I think we probably had 5 showings yesterday, and we've got 4 scheduled today, and we already have an offer that was at full price, cash. So has a contingency, so we're trying to figure all that stuff out. So we've talked about that word contingency before, and I'm not going to go into that as a word of the day necessarily, but contingency just means I'll buy this, but this also has to happen before I can buy this. And that's okay. Most of us have contingencies. But when you have a property that's hot, it's newly listed, as a seller, you might want to wait for an offer that doesn't have a contingency. But I am always of the mindset, you've got a good offer in hand, we should explore it, and kind of everyone's situation and scenario is going to be different. So anyway, so those are the 2 listings. Hopefully next week we'll have some good news that one or both of them are pending. Cross your fingers for me. But that is definitely our hope and our plan. All right, we are going to move on because I'm trying to zoom. You good?
Well, no, zoom. First of all, and I'll do the alley thing here.
Oh, okay.
Does every new construction lot in Florida have room to build a pool? I know the lots can sometimes be small, but can you build one?
That is such a good question. And I think we may have touched on things like this before. In fact, I'm sure we have, just in our normal real estate conversations. So one of the things that is important to note is that almost everybody wants to know, and you should always ask whether or not your home site that you are interested in or that you are purchasing has the ability to build a pool, whether you want to or not. Okay, so you may go, I don't really care if it can build a pool because I don't want a pool. But if you ever plan on selling that home, it is good information to know. It doesn't mean that you have to buy one that does. It just means you need to know what you're purchasing. So in most cases, yes, but not in every case by any stretch of the imagination. There's a beautiful home called Twin Waters, beautiful Meritage community, but there happened to be one street in that community where none of the homes were allowed to build a pool because of a rather large easement that was back there, which prohibited them from digging and building into the ground there. So things like that can happen. And the other thing is really about the footprint, the footprint of the home. This is a fantastic way to describe it. Eric has this picture and did this. So take a look at this. So this is obviously actual pictures, actual house. So if you look, do you see where it's going around a pond? You can kind of see the little bit of an embankment has like the lighter brownie kind of coloring, and then you see the fresh grass. Okay, so if the fresh grass to the brownie is the property line, take a look at this. To the far left of the screen, you're going to see a one-story. A one-story almost always has a larger footprint, right? If you look at it on the ground, drawing out the whole structure on the ground, that footprint is going to be larger. The larger that is, the more space it's taking up of your usable green space, so the less room you are going to have to potentially build your pool. So that is an example there, because look directly beside it. Do you see that two-story? That two-story has much more as far as the square footage goes, but it's a more shallow footprint, right? So that home doesn't take up as much of the backyard. So you have more backyard there if you wanted to add a pool. And then directly beside that, in the middle, you can see a home that has a pool. So now we're talking about a home that has a pool, and you can kind of see that the two-story, which is what that third home there, the one that has a pool, it's a two-story, but you can see that where that home ends and where the pool begins, that usable space now is taken up pretty much that whole backyard, but now you have a home and a pool. If you looked at that one story that was to the left, you don't have as much space to build a pool, so your pool's going to probably be smaller. Now on that note, and I think this is such a good visual, so I'm going to leave it up here for a minute while I keep yakking, just because I think it's really smart, such a good visual. Look over to the far right, same thing. You can see that there's a two-story that's super shallow, and then the one-story again. You can just kind of see what you'd have. But the other thing to note is whether or not your home site is flat, whether it inclines up, whether it declines down, whether or not that would prohibit you completely from being able to add a pool, or if it would require you to do some sort of a stem wall or a retaining wall, depending on the topography of that particular home site. And I will tell you that if you need those types of a retaining wall, they can be pricey. And that matters too, because you might go, oh, I love this, I can get this home, or let's just say it's an inventory home. It's a beautiful inventory home. You love everything about it. Backyard's not super ideal, but you could build a pool. You just would need a retaining wall. Well, you need to make sure you've accounted for that in your pool budget, because if you are being a little bit more budget conscious on what it would, building your future pool, then you're going to need to tack on a little bit for that retaining wall. And a retaining wall in most often is pretty pricey. It could add, $10,000 up to $50,000. I had a client once, it was a $50,000 retaining wall because they were building almost like a cliff where their house ended because they backed up to a lake. So again, very unique situation and scenarios, but very important for you to pay attention to that and to ask those questions. And if it's new construction specifically, because they have a copy of the survey, if it's resale or if it's something else and you kind of need to have those questions answered, we can certainly kind of review that. So anyway, so let us move on. I wanted to share what I'm watching because I think Julia's here. Is Julia here? I think she is, because she's going to know what I'm talking about here. Okay, so first of all, so Eric put Schmigadoon. So I told him, I was like, well, I just finished I haven't finished Schmigadoon. By the way, Schmigadoon, yes, like Brigadoon. Allie actually is the one that turned me on to this. It's on, Allie, is it Apple Plus? Oh, yeah, it says right there. Duh, it's right there on the thing, on the little thumbnail. So it's on Apple Plus TV, and it's called Schmigadoon. And it is, if you like musical theater, you'll absolutely love this. It is just so incredibly funny and the cast is talented. I mean, the names in this cast are amazing. So if you want a very lighthearted, kind of quippy, funny musical theater, extreme kind of an experience, this is a fun one. I haven't finished it yet, so Allie has finished it. So Allie, if you want to chime in, you can name off some of the people that are in it. But it is really funny. I think I don't know where I am. I'm only a few episodes in. What I did finish is something on Netflix called Baby Reindeer. I don't know. Like, Julia actually texted me one night and she's like, if you should watch this or whatever. I was like, oh, I'm actually on episode 2 right now. And I'm like, it's kind of weird. And she's like, oh, it gets weirder. It gets crazier. And I will say at one point I almost stopped watching it because I was like, I don't know. I'm getting really uncomfortable watching it. But I stuck it out because it wasn't that many episodes. And it was just weird. It was weird. It was both sad and depressing and also funny, also scary, also just uncomfortable. So it was kind of a whole mixed bag of emotions. But so Baby Reindeer, I don't know that I'm going to recommend that one unless you just want weirdness. But definitely Schmigadoon. I think that is definitely one that if you like musical theater, you like a little singing and dancing, a little bit of cheesiness, then this is a good one. So there's a lot of, what is her name, Eric? I can't remember.
Cecily Strong.
Thank you, Cecily Strong from Saturday Night Live. But again, just the whole cast is amazing. There's so many people I haven't met yet. I just know we're in the cast from when Allie was telling me about it. Anyway, yeah, so Julia chimed in about Baby Reindeer. Oh my God, it's freaky, wonderful. It makes you so uncomfortable. Yeah, it's so uncomfortable. Yes, it is definitely an uncomfortable thing. Baby Reindeer was sick. True story of his life. And that, Sydney, you know what? To that point, I think that's exactly right. That's why the emotions were, this is a real thing. I mean, it may have been a dramatization of it or it may have been spot on. I'm not sure. But either way, it doesn't matter because that situation was so weird and uncomfortable. But yeah, Julie, it's weird, y'all. Yeah. So anyway, not that y'all need TV viewing advice from me, but I always think it's fun to share kind of what we're watching, just to kind of go there. Anyway, so all right, Eric, what have I missed, dear?
Pooh Bear.
I missed Pooh Bear. Man, I missed Pooh Bear. That I say some more things about Pooh Bear.
Quote of the week.
The quote of the week is thanks
called.
for voting for me. He did. He called. He called and said, "Hey guys, thanks for voting for me." But yeah, so again, we talked about Woody won the hero bracket. Belle won the heroine bracket. Ursula won the villain bracket, and Pooh Bear won the wild card. And we're super happy about that. I still think that we should get little awards, just like we did with the Chicken Wars.
Yeah.
When we did our Chicken Wars on the Sunday Drive and we went to PDQ, Huey and Magoo's, and Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
I think when we did that and we did the award, by the way, the little award that we gave to Huey Magoo's is still hanging right there behind their register. I think maybe we should do one for the Disney characters and then we can make it a business expense to go to Disney for the day.
And by the way, Cinco de Mayo is a Sunday.
Ooh.
And so we will be doing Taco Wars.
All right. Did you guys hear that? Cinco de Mayo is on a Sunday, so we're going to be doing Taco Wars on our Sunday drive. That's very good. I think that'll be fun. Where are we going to go? Or are we going to keep it a secret? Lime Fresh?
Well, we have Torchy's Tacos, Lime Fresh. Yeah. And then Tijuana Flats, although Tijuana Flats just declared bankruptcy, but they're not closing all of the... What? They sold and then they closed 11 restaurants, but I think our local ones are staying open. I gotcha. Okay, well, look, any questions in there? So we have Susie Q. It's so funny because every time I do Q, I see Susie Q pops up. Yeah, Geraint, he thought breaking news. He has gone quiet this week, hasn't he? I have.
He did. He went quiet. Now, that wasn't really a question, but he did. How's the grandbaby doing on your end, Geraint? And then Kim, so what do you suggest we do in our situation with all the problems? Yes. So first of all, these are things, we'll talk about this privately, Kim. We kind of already did. We've been texting kind of back and forth before. We've already reached out, and we're working on a remedy for some of those things. There are times, though, guys, that we just don't get the answers that we want. In her case, when she arrived,
she closed on the home and then didn't actually get here for another couple of weeks. And when she got here, there were a few issues. The most concerning to me was that the front door was unlocked and open. And that is something that needs to be remedied. But I don't know that we're going to get the answer to that. Like, I don't know how we're ever going to find out who it was that left the door open. There's no security camera. There's no system there. The keys had not been changed over. And that is something that we need to talk about as a general topic, not necessarily Kim specifically, although this certainly is relevant to Kim, but in general. So when you close on a property, you close on the property, and until you get your keys and you change them over, it is still on a builder key, which means that your home is open and accessible to anyone that has that key. And guys, I have some builder keys, right? And that is because with some of these builders, they know I do a lot, so I may have a key where I can go show an inventory home if it happens to be after hours or something. I don't have a lot of builder keys, but I have had them in the past. I have a couple of now. I don't ever abuse that, by the way. It is only in a situation where I'll call my builder contact and say, hey, I have somebody that wants to go see that inventory on lot 93. Is it okay if I go show it? Yes. Do you need a key? No, you gave me one last week. Oh yeah, that's right. You just keep it. Okay, fine. But point is, when you close on your home, they give you keys, right? Depending on your builder and depending on the kind of lock that you have. Some are more complicated. Like D.R. Horton, you're way too complicated for yours, but it's fine. But your job is to go to your house, change your key, turn your doorknob like this for any door that has an actual key that locks out the builder. Nobody else can access your home except you who has that key. And that is important to note. And I had somebody the other day, they closed on a Friday. They were leaving on a Sunday and they're not going to be back for a couple of weeks. Said the same thing to them. Just make sure that one of the things that you do is you get those keys changed over. That is not the builder's responsibility. That is a homeowner responsibility. And, it's not great that this happened. We don't know how or why it happened. We can only guess that maybe there was a painter or a tradesman went in the home, didn't realize that the home had been closed on. And this is going to be my guess, okay, is that they didn't know. Again, keep in mind, these houses are open most often, right? They're almost always open. Once appliances go in, they start locking them up. But if there's active final work and touch-ups that need to be done, the guy that does the drywall or the cleaning crew, they don't know who has closed on what home. That's not their job and that's not their responsibility. They go in, they do their work, and they leave. So whether or not they knew it had been closed and that they were supposed to lock it, maybe it was unlocked when they got there, so they also left it unlocked. We don't know. So in her situation, we're probably not going to know the answer to that. She was talking about the irrigation system. Again, I don't know. Usually that is not touched by anyone. The builder usually has that set and it's usually left alone, and then it'll be homeowner responsibility to change that over if there's like specific watering days.
Usually they leave it on too much is the problem.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
Have it every day.
Exactly.
So I'm just going to chime in, Kim. I'll touch base with you somehow today or whatever about the broken sprinkler head. If we can get someone to fix that, if not, I can tell you what to do. I understand, but I'm saying if the irrigation system's not on, but then the sprinkler head's broken, we'll talk. Is my point.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk some more about that. But we are already on it, and the builder has always, in my opinion, done wonderful customer service recovery when there has been issues. So I do not expect this to be any different. It's just a matter of expectation. Who opened the door? How did it get left unlocked? Was the irrigation system turned off? That rainbird sensor's on the exterior. Was it the water company that came out because they noticed it was being watered on the wrong days? Like literally, we don't know. So we can't, I don't like to immediately throw blame at anybody until we kind of find out. And sometimes we just can't find out. But I will tell you that anything from the builder's perspective that they need to address, I have full confidence that they will. So
yeah, and we'll be on that.
Anyway, so let me see. What else did we do? Any other questions? Anything fun? Are the guys still downstairs or are they gone?
I have no idea.
Okay, cool. What did Geraint said? He said that the baby is fantastic. Baby Joey doing fine and gaining weight daily. Very good. Oh my goodness. I am just so excited. I'm so stinking excited about like Wednesday. And somebody, who was it that messaged early? They said that they're...
Oh, it was Rachel.
Hey, Rachel said, I wonder if, was it in the other chat though?
Yeah.
It was in the other one. She said, was it grandbaby was born, Winnie Palmer?
Yep.
So she was thinking of us. So, and also, by the way, I also want to mention, because the other day, and I don't know if you're watching, and I forgot to ask your name. I'm so sorry. I was caught so off guard. The other day, was it yesterday? It was yesterday. I went with some clients. We toured a home. And then on my way back, I filled up with gas because I need to make sure that I'm in Mimi mode and that I have a full tank of gas for whatever may transpire over the next couple of days. And then I swung into the 7-Eleven, to grab the big gulp of Diet Coke like I did. But while I was there, I ran into this beautiful woman who stopped and said hello and said she watches all the time. And that was just wonderful. I love just kind of seeing people randomly and chatting with them. And I laughed because... she said what was it that she said?
She said, yeah, Eric tells us that you don't like to be approached.
Oh, yeah,
It's not true.
Yeah. She said something to the effect of, I saw you, but I know Eric says you don't like to be approached. I'm like, well, that's not true. Don't ever think that I don't want to be approached. I think what I say is that Eric is always the one that gets recognized. And usually if I'm out and about, I kind of keep my head down because I'm a very introverted person for the most part. And I don't, I always.
But the opposite is true. We love when we're out and people say they watch or whatever and just say hi. That's the best. That's like really.
Yeah, it makes I don't know. It makes us feel really good when I talk to people that have found us. The information that they recite back to me that they have learned from watching is so amazing. It just makes our heart happy. It makes you a better consumer, a better buyer, a better seller. It makes you a better client. It makes you, I think it's all about expectation, about what you can expect, what you can't expect, what is fair, what is not fair, what needs to be remedied, what should not necessarily be requested to be remedied, and all of the things that kind of fall in between, all of those nuances. So, anyway, Allie, I did see this. Allie popped up back to Schmigadoon, Cecily Strong, Keegan Michael Key, Aaron, I don't pronounce it, Tibet? Whatever, Kristen Chenoweth, come on, Alan Cumming, etc. Mix of comedy names and Broadway names. So yeah, absolutely amazing. So again, if you like musical theater, go back to that Schmigadoon because that is freaking amazing so far. Anyway, all right, Eric, if I missed anything, dear.
Oh, you have wishes and you have cup if you want.
I do have wishes, lots of wishes. Yep, so we have some wishes. We have a lot going on. So Elizabeth and Tito are closing today. They built a beautiful Exberry floor plan. Exberry with land, sea, come on. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Renee and Ann closing on a beautiful home with Dream Finders. Taylor and Riley, they're closing on their resale home. They were the ones that had the extension. And Christina and Ed are closing on their Ashton Woods home. And do I have wishes full? Is there more? Is that it?
No, that's it.
That was it. So yeah, there's a lot going on. So these are all 4 closings this week. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 of them are new construction. 1 of them is resale. We had Manny and Yuko. I don't know if we had them last week or not, but they closed. Okay, good. But they closed on their resale home recently. But anyway, so we're very excited. So congratulations to all of them. And then, of course, my cup. Let me see the cup button. Here it is. I found it. Oh, yes. I was like, I don't know what my cup is. So this is my cup. So I got this picture from my son, Dawson. He is still at JMU, and this is probably a little bit of a bummer because they are finishing up. They're getting ready for finals right while Allie's having the baby. He's going to be home May 9th, so pretty soon. And I know he wants to come home to be here to see his nephew. It's just not super feasible for him to get home. But he was out over the weekend and he was playing golf with his buddies, which makes me happy because it's a weekend, beautiful weather out there in Harrisonburg. So he went to go play golf with his buddies, and he showed me this new packet of golf balls that he bought. They are the Mother's Day edition, and so he took this picture, says Mom, has the rose on the side, and, it's really funny. We are a very openly lovey-dovey family, and I say lovey-dovey. Do people say lovey-dovey anymore?
Did.
I just did. But we say I love you all the time. It's not difficult for us to say it to each other. It's not difficult for us to say it to you or to strangers. There's different kinds of love for sure, but love is a real thing. And we say that very easily. It's never false when we say it. It's always very, very real and very true. We hug a lot as our family. Those of you that are my clients, I usually go in for a hug and then have to apologize. Is it okay if I hugged you? Especially during COVID, that was so hard. But we all express it a little bit differently. And so with my son Dawson, that was, that's kind of a huge mommy moment, because I'm like, that's his way of, just kind of reminding me that he was thinking of me and loves me, or at least that's what I'm going to pretend. Although I posted that on Facebook, and one of my friends from high school says, yeah, he's getting ready to whack the crap out of that ball, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess good point. But anyway, so be it. I'm still happy that he was thinking of me, and I thought that was a great little picture. So yeah. I don't know how he did. Did he ever tell you how he did playing golf?
Did well. Yeah.
He did well. Good, excellent. All right, very good. All right. Jane said, "I've always said you're a good people." Well, thank you. That means
fold another one.
Fold another one. No, thank you.
Back at you, Jane.
Back at you for sure. By the way, have you gone through the coffee creamer yet? What else did we send her? It was the licorice. Yes. That's so funny. So yeah, you have to tell us how your supply is holding out. Anyway, and then John Hickman says, Pam and I keep asking, wonder where and when we're gonna see Amy and Eric. So remember, here's something that's really funny. We see the screen, right? You guys see us all the time. So sometimes I am petrified, absolutely petrified, that if I'm out somewhere and someone sees me, even if it's like a client or a former client, that I'm not going to be looking at them and recognizing them, and that they're going to recognize me and think, oh my gosh, she didn't even say hi. It's because like my brain, like we feel bad sometimes. We're like, oh, because you see us all the time, you know what we look like. When I meet clients out, like we'll be talking like this, we meet for the first time. They know what we look like, but we don't know what they look like. So I'm kind of like, well, who looks like they're recognizing me? And they come on over, and then we start our day of touring together. But anyway, super fun. All right, let me see if I missed anything. I'm just going to scroll back real fast. I think I did good too. I think we got everybody. I know it was a fast one. I know I spoke pretty quickly this day, today, but we had a lot of oh yeah, Eric was okay. Were you explaining all of our chaos this morning? Yeah, the plumbers were supposed to be here at 10, and they got here at 8:45, and at 8:30 is when Eric and I do a run through of the show as far as where are my buttons, and we had a little bit of an issue with our plumbers last week, so I was venting and trying to get that taken care of. So again, apologies for our wonky start, but Forrest, I will see you tomorrow, my son. I cannot wait. So I know you're on here. He doesn't always chime in all the time, but we know you're watching. We love you. Can't wait to see you. Anybody that was watching that I did not get to say hello to, for whatever reason, for all of you who watch that don't chime in and text and chat with us, we know you're out there. We know you exist. We know you're watching. You're probably yelling at the TV, maybe even rolling your eyes, maybe even laughing every once in a while, but we appreciate you guys. So with that, we're going to get started on our Monday. We have a very busy week happening here in the Kidwell household, so I am ready to go off and embrace it. I got to go pack my Mimi to go bag, make sure I've got everything prepped and ready to meet our grandson on Wednesday.
We might have a picture Monday.
We might have a picture. We might. Super excited about that. But yes, if you guys are so inclined, it certainly would not hurt our feelings at all for excuse me, for you to have Allie, Hong, and little baby Easton in your prayers over these next few days. So thank you guys. And with that, I think we're gonna go. Now, by the way, I pushed this last week and it didn't work. I'm gonna push it again and see if it works today. It didn't work today either, so that's okay. It's the wrap up button.
Oh yeah, the little thing. It's
okay. It's all right, baby. It's okay.
Just get out.
It's okay. I'm just kidding. Get out. All right.
No, I mean,
no.